They are alleging that irregularities and malpractices went on, and they started from 4,709, they jumped to 11,916, and now they've come back to 11,842. You see, so they keep on changing that. So we don't want to be taken unaware. Where they have alleged the polling stations, about 11,000, we have gone round the polling station, the agents who were there, our officials who were there. They saw it all from beginning in the morning till evening. Those are the people we have taken the affidavit from, so that any of them could be called upon to come and testify. But we want the world to know. Let every Ghanaian and the whole world know that this election, they themselves had press conference to say that it was transparent, clean, and now they are saying that there were irregularities. We want the world to know that, yes, this is the evidence we have. As the court said, we are bringing it before them and let them rule on it. Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday Brief on Joy News. My name is Jennifer Jane Asante. The Supreme Court just got up and we're taking you directly there live, where my colleague Eric Curtis Howard brings you a report of what has happened.
Good afternoon, viewers. You are still live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, and we are still at the Supreme Court, where the case involving the NPP and the NDC and President Mahama is still ongoing. This morning in court, as you may be aware, it's a landmark case. It's a historic event that has happened in court. For the first time, we have TV cameras in courts bringing to viewers, both at home and international, the whole world, proceedings from the court. The information that we picked up indicates that in court, what really happened was that both parties, the respondents and the petitioners, they spoke about the fact that the camera was in court. They said it was good, it was a good thing. At least it will make the case come out to all Ghanaians for them to know what is really happening in court and everything. So they all agree that yes, the camera should be allowed in court. But the Electoral Commission said they've not been served with a petition, as in they've not received all the petition from the petitioners. So they should be allowed some time to file those petitions for the case to continue. So as of now we are speaking, I can say that proceedings in court have come to a break now, and the lawyers, the judges have gone in the chamber to decide as to whether the EC can file the case now, or they should wait for the EC to file the case before the case can continue in court. But like I told you earlier in my earlier reports, that the police at the court premises, the situation at the court premises is very calm now and everything. But because the dignitaries have come out of court and everything, supporters of both political parties, the NPP and NDC, wherever they went to, wherever they were hiding, their hiding place and everything, have thronged the court premises, and they are all waiting to know what their leaders will be telling them. As I speak to you now, the police have taken absolute control of the place. They are well prepared. They have handled the situation well, and they have kept the supporters of both political parties at bay. And things here are quite calm now and everything is going on smoothly. So we'll wait to the outcome of what the judges will have to say, and we'll get things going. Thank you.
That was my colleague, Eric Curtis Howard, reporting to you live from the steps of the Supreme Court. As you know, the Supreme Court sat to hear the election petition on the 2012 elections determining the legitimacy of President John Mahama's presidency. We will go back to the courthouse when the panel returns to give you their verdict on whether or not the EC can file their affidavits now and they continue with the hearing of the case, or they would be given time with which to do it, and then the hearing of the case will follow after the affidavits have been filed. We'll go back to my colleague Annie Osabote as soon as we get a hold of him, and he will also bring you a report. He was actually in the courtroom listening to proceedings, following everything word for word, even as you were in your homes, but I'm sure he has a little inside information. We will be bringing that to you as well. We're still live from the Supreme Court. As you can see, the policemen are in full riot gear and they're keeping a tight lid on the security situation there. As Eric Curtis Howard mentioned, supporters arrived in order to show their solidarity with either the petitioners or the respondents in the case. And the situation has been contained so far. Let's hope that we maintain the peace. We'll be taking a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more news.
Multi-TV presents the Buy and Win promotion. When you buy a Multi-TV quality combo or strong digibox, you stand the chance of winning fantastic prizes free.
Premi, this is Kwesian Porti. Now, I'm Pata Kwesi. Mr. Akona Samai, me two more TV. And I'm in saying, no, correct. As my phone one, no, had there no more quarter, no, me buy any sugar, but they quite gonna Samai, get the crew.
You are in with a chance to win flat panel televisions, fridges, air conditioners, cameras, all from Samsung.
GTP New Style Wax Spray from GTP.
Free digiboxes,
T-shirts, and more.
In the Asante region, we be on to multi digibox, maybe no one testing call. They say we dear near the mouth. Saying you 419.
Just buy your multi-TV quality combo or strong digibox today. Text the serial number to the short code 1757 and boom! This promotion is brought to you by Multi-TV in collaboration with its digibox distributors, Strong Technologies, Somotix, and Syndicated Capital on the Caritas Lottery platform of NLA.
Proudly sponsored by Brilliance from SCL Technologies, Samsung Televisions, and New Star from GTP. Terms and conditions apply.
More TV for free.
Welcome back to the Midday Brief. We will be taking you back to the Supreme Court, but before then, the Presidency has directed the Board of the National Service Scheme, NSS, to ask the scheme's Executive Director, Vincent Kwagbenu, to take his accumulated leave. A source close to the Board of Directors of the NSS told the Daily Graphic that a formal correspondence had been received from the Chief of Staff directing that Kwagbenu report to the Office of the President for reassignment after the expiration of his leave. No reasons have been given for the reassignment. The Deputy Executive Director of the NSS in charge of Finance and Administration, Alhaji Alhassan Imoro, will act as the Executive Director until a substantive Executive Director is appointed. In a related development, the Chief Executive of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, Justice Amegashi, has been asked to hand over the administration of the authority. According to the Transport Ministry, Amegashi has been given 4 weeks to prepare and hand over. Now, on the 2nd of April 2013, Vincent Senam Kwagbenu, then Executive Director of the National Service Scheme, granted Joy News an exclusive interview on the NSS's operations and success while he choked at the helm of affairs. Here are some excerpts.
Well, as an organization that is evolving, I would say the scheme is making progress. Not only 2012, I think the last 4 years under my stewardship, for the first time, I should tell you that we have introduced a lot of reforms that is helping our work. And there's what we call job satisfaction. Among not only the...
All right, now we will go back to Vincent Kwagbenu, but at the Supreme Court, there's a lot going on. Let's head straight over there and find out what's happening.
You know for on yourself.
Good. All right, you're still live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. We have here our correspondent who was in the court premises, and he will give us more information as to what really went on in court today. Good afternoon, Annie.
Good afternoon.
So tell us, you are in the court. You are in the courtroom. What really went on?
Okay, so essentially, from the start, the judges have taken a short break. They've adjourned sitting for now, but they will come back. It has to do with the fact that before they started proceedings, I mean, they were... Judge Atugwa wanted to know from the various lawyers as to whether or not they agree with the decision taken last night by the Chief Justice, Georgina Theodora Wood, as to whether or not they should televise this particular proceedings. And he talked about the fact that, well, in the interest of the public interest, for them they will proceed. But likely to the various judges agreed. You had... La Chachikata and that of Tony Letha say that, well, they also agree, but in the future, if Al Jazeera or any of these foreign media would like to cover the proceedings, they'll be allowed as well. So that happened. And then, they took a decision on that and they moved on. And then Philip Addison was asked to open up his case. It was there he made it very clear that he has not received the written affidavit from the Electoral Commission, and even with the NDC, he's received only one. And he pointed it to the court. So, so the argument started. And Charity Kata stood on his ground and he said, well, I mean, with or without receiving the written affidavit, they can still proceed to the court. But they drag these people to the court, challenging the legitimacy of President Mahama, who was declared electoral, the victor in the election that were held in 2012. So, they can proceed because he feels that even if they have to adjourn the case, he must give a compelling reason why that should be done, Curtis.
Okay, so now we learn that the judges are in the chamber. How long are they going to be in the chamber for the proceedings to continue? Well,
it depends. I mean, this particular case, we started late. I mean, everybody was expecting that we're going to start around 10 or 10:30, but we started a little after 11, I think. In some instances where we have come, they've been in chamber more than 20, 30 minutes. I don't know how long or how soon they're going to come back, but I mean, everything lies within their bosom now. I mean, for now, the judges are in court. Now, the standoff right now, like I said, is the fact that whether or not the Electoral Commission, who has not served the petitioners, whether or not the case will proceed or not. And you remember, at the point, for example, when Chachi stood up to counter that particular argument, lawyer Philip Addison also stood up on this ground, and he said that, look, for them, if the EC had fired and the NDC had not fired, they have no business. They have no problem at all whatsoever. But the EC has not fired or has not written to them the affidavit, and therefore they cannot proceed to the court. But Chatu again stood up and he said it is not good enough reason. Lawyer Aidan, who is representing the EC, said that, you know what, look, we still have within the time that the court gave us. So you proceed with your case and we'll comply with the directive. So, I mean, right now we are all waiting for the judges to come and tell us exactly what the position is. Okay.
Now, finally, before I let you go, and I just want to know, what was the general atmosphere in the courtroom, the general mood in the courtroom when these arguments were ongoing?
It was relaxing. I've heard stories about the fact that it was a bit acrimonious and all that. But I'm not a lawyer, but few of the proceedings I have seen after the court case, these are friends. I mean, I was just being told that Lawyer Addison went to Fanspim, where Chachu Chikata also went, they were not met. But they are friends. I mean, I've been to the court and I've seen Frank Davis, who is on the side of the petitioners, joke with Nana Tudas, who speaks for the NDC legal team, joke with Tony Lita and Dr. Bamba and the rest. But when they get to the bench, they are executing a professional work. Let's do our job, but there's no acrimony whatsoever. At a point, for example, when Nanado came in, Asidun Gita, as is always done, walked up to where he was and was sharing joke. These are friends. Sergio and Asidun Gita, they always have a lively banter. They are not fighting, they are not putting classes. And I think so many times we made fetish out of the fact that this is a court case, this is acrimony. Yeah, there's tension and all that. There's a bragging rights for the side of the NDC and the MPP. But these guys are friends. They are just here to do their job and go home to sleep.
Thank you very much, Annie. And you've been hearing Annie Asabute. He'll keep us updated with the latest proceedings from the courtroom. You're still live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. We now hand over to the studio for the news to continue. Thank you. Cuts.
Well, you saw my colleagues, Eric Curtis Howard, talking to Annie Osabote, who gave us an update on what happened in the courtroom a few minutes ago. Now, Joy News yesterday caught up with the General Secretary of the NDC when they filed their affidavits at the Supreme Court. He spoke about a variety of issues. Here are some excerpts.
It covers the constituencies where they allege there are problems with. So that is why we have to. So this is in response to what they are alleging. So if there is no allegation, there is no burden of proof, on behalf of anybody. So we are responding to what they are alleging. And I'm very confident, having looked through their pink sheets and other things, I know that the case has already crumbled. Because, I mean... Are
you not saying that because, obviously, I'm not expecting you to say they don't have a case?
Look, let me tell you a classical example. When you are complaining about presidential elections, then you are submitting, in some cases, polling station results relating to parliamentary elections. And how do you expect to win such a case? And now, in a lot of instances, you realize that they simply don't have a case. They are alleging that there were 28 polling stations that were, added to the original list of 26,000. It turns out that all these, it was said in open court that they will stick to 22 because they are not pursuing the 28 again. Now, when they were submitting their so-called evidence, they jumped to 23. And even the 23 they brought, when you look at it, you realize that all of them exist in the 26,000. So what are they complaining about? They are complaining about spelling mistakes of the names of police stations. I mean, how can you be that petty? And then when you take some of the pink sheets, the 8,000 pink sheets, several of them were duplicates. They just duplicated the little they have and added it to the number because the case doesn't exist. And they are struggling to get proof. There are more than 100 of the pink sheets that has no information at all relating to the allegations they are putting across. So I think that MPP wants to hang a case in court so that it can form the basis of them to create fear, panic, unnecessary agitations.
Yeah, but the court is the best place to resolve whatever dispute they have. So, I mean, how can you attribute that to, or link that to, they wanting to create confusion or chaos?
No, I'm judging them by their own Bible. You understand? All the statements they have made When you look at Africa Watch, the emails that have been sent by cousins of Nana Akufo-Addo expressing desperation about...
These allegations I have no
No,
proof.
they are emails that exist.
Yeah, but they could be coming from persons who claim to be
Please let them come out to deny. We are saying that these are, there are emails that are expressing frustration that Ghanaians have not taken advantage of the current, power crisis and, fuel crisis to be more angry, and which will lead to disruptions in Mohammed's government.
Now you know that this case is the first time in history where live broadcast has been allowed, and we've been joined on the line by my colleague Patricia Gasu, who has been monitoring how Ghanaians have been watching in town. Hello, Patricia.
Hello, Jennifer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Patricia, where exactly are you in town?
I'm actually at Kaneshi.
And are people in Kaneshi watching the Supreme Court case?
As usual, but the whole place is calm. Others are complaining the sound coming from the proceedings is very bad. But some few people that I spoke with said they are in a hurry to know what the judges are going to say at the end of the proceedings. Others are also saying they just can't wait. One guy in particular that I spoke with said ever since they announced the winner, like the president, he has been thinking, like, waiting for the real thing to come because he believes Mahama shouldn't be the president. So yesterday when he heard that the whole thing is going to be shown today on TV, he couldn't sleep. So he's just waiting for the results to come out.
Okay. Patricia, are people following what is happening in the courtroom? I mean, court proceedings are pretty technical. Do they understand what they are watching?
I don't think so. I don't really think so.
All right. Are they following it on radio? Some of the radio stations are doing translations in the local language or running commentary.
Most of the people that I saw were all watching the TV.
All right.
Because they told me they want to see what is really going on. They want to see into details what is actually happening in the court.
Okay. Apart from Kaneshi, where else have you been that people are watching and following proceedings?
I'm actually on my way to other places to find out. So whatever the case, I'll call back to let you know.
Oh, so this is your first stop?
Yes, please.
All right, then. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Patricia Gasu, my colleague who is in town monitoring people's reactions to the live broadcast of the Supreme Court case. Now let's go back to my earlier soundbite where Vincent Senam Kwagbenu, the then Executive Director of the National Service Scheme, on the 2nd of April 2013, in an exclusive interview with Joy News, talked about the NSS's operations and successes that he chalked whilst at the helm of affairs.
Well, as an organization that is evolving, I would say the scheme is making progress. Not only 2012, I think the last 4 years, under my stewardship, for the first time, I should tell you that we have introduced a lot of reforms that is helping our work. And there's what we call job satisfaction among not only the workers there, but also service personnel who enroll and undertaking national service. There are challenges in some areas, challenges that our personnel are facing. For instance, in some districts of this country where there are, especially in the rural district, where there are no banks, we have challenged actually using the mechanized system of paying allowances of our personnel. So we pay personnel on the table. And that also opens up to some level of corruption and at the district level. And we are trying to see how best we can address that. We've spoken to the managing directors of Ghana Commercial Bank and the Agricultural Development Bank to see if they can have agencies to pay our personnel in those areas where they don't have banks in those areas. Yes. Yes. It's not an introduction. We have finally gotten the memorandum of understanding that enable us to deploy health professionals. And this year we have deployed over 2,000 nurses and midwives who have passed their licensing exams, and about 300 pharmacists are deployed, and laboratory technicians and doctors of optometry. We are expecting the list of medical and dental officers from the Medical and Dental Council to deploy this year, and we are waiting on that. So it's been very smooth, but it's been very encouraging. This year, December alone, we sold over 8,000 beds for Accra market alone. We have close to 13,000 beds currently at our farm at Nungwa Farms. We are working with the Ministry of Agric there. Yeah, and we hope when you visit, we have a lot of institutions visiting to buy beds. What is very refreshing is the experience that our graduates who have studied agriculture are gaining from our farm. Government is using our farms as a demonstration farms to get other youth groups to go into commercial agriculture. There is the need for us to realignment of our training, and I don't want to hurt any professor this morning, so I'll reserve that. I think that the National Development Planning Commission will have to do a more serious work. Their planning should not only limit us to economic indicators and what have you. If they can help the National Council or Tertiary Education to actually give quotas to our universities to train specific needs areas, it will help address the unemployment challenge we face.
Because for some time, I think
we are supposed to help address critical needs of government, road safety, educating the public on road safety is an area that people with sociology background, people with psychology background can help address. And that is what we are looking. We're talking about community policing. In today's day and age, should we be doing police swoop in a community, arrested 73 people, brutalize them, and do screening, and even sometimes they don't get anybody. But the people you have swoop, their freedom has been infringed upon. So these are some of the things. It will help the public get educated on what they should do, especially our road users. Driving on the banks of a road, it doesn't help the road itself. And also, it leads to accidents. A lot of road signs, and what have you, people and drivers who use our road, how many of them are able to read road signs? That the exclamation mark says this: you should not do ABC. Zebra crossing, you have to stop for pedestrians to cross. When pedestrians are standing on the zebra crossing, that's when even drivers speed. These are some of the issues that when our personnel go through the Road Safety Commission, they will be trained to help educate our road users as well as the drivers. Maybe they can go and help educate people at the GPRTU, what have you. They are expressing need for our personnel, especially community policing, for instance.
Well, perhaps he's been reassigned to duplicate those successes elsewhere. Now, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has suspended its 2-week-old strike with effect from Tuesday morning. The decision was arrived at after a lengthy meeting last night between the leadership of the association, representatives of the Ministries of Education, Finance and Economic Planning, and Employment and Social Welfare, among others. This is according to Dr. Langbong Bimi, who is the president of the Legon branch of UTAG. According to him, lecturers have now returned to lecture halls as students prepare for their end-of-semester examinations across the country. On that happy note, we'll be taking a quick break. When we come back, there's more news.
We eat a lot of fatty food. Food that is more of carbohydrate. So we are in the extreme. Carbohydrate with fatty. For instance, the granule soup is nice and it's very tasty. but it's very oily and it contains a lot of cholesterol. The pap nosu is nice, I enjoy it, but it contains a lot of cholesterol. You know, when you're going to buy oil, you see that the red oil has a top that is very light. That one is the good one, and I wish everybody would eat that one. But the one that is condensed and is thick, that one contains a lot of cholesterol. And that's what we enjoy. We like that one more than any other thing. So it tells you what we actually consume contain a lot of cholesterol.
But adults are said to be at high rates of surviving this condition.
The young person get heart attack, and most likely they may die of it because the body has not developed what we call collateral, other vessels to supply blood when the main pipeline is blocked. The old person, most of the time as we are aging, we start developing tiny vessels to keep us.
I understand that the judges are taking their seats, and so we're taking you straight back to the Supreme Court.
Which is what the witness will be going through to explain.
Yes. And what is the difficulty?
I'm sorry?
What is the difficulty?
The difficulty, we need the permission of the court to set up equipment for doing that, so that it could be beamed for everybody to see.
Yes.
Well, the PowerPoint presentation is just what we have, a projection of this material on the laptop to a screen for everybody to see. That's basically what it is.
But all that will be televised also, no so?
I'm not sure about the television, but this is basically for the court.
Oh, I don't know. What is the advantage flowing from this?
Well, the advantage from this is the graphic impression that it will make on the court. And for clarity.
Clarity.
Absolutely.
But we have them on the CDs also, and...
well, my lord, it's important for the witness to take you through it so that when you go back to look at it in its cold form, you will recollect the presentation that was made.
Oh, I mean... then what is the use of filing, the evidence? It's meant to expedite and to cut out okay, as far as possible. So why do you walk us through the same thing, which is already an exhibit?
My lord, for instance, we need to take your lordships through the pink sheets so that we can point out to you all the various parts of the pink sheets that we have referred to in our affidavit for a fuller and clearer understanding. And I'm sorry, my lord.
Addresses?
No.
I thought the addresses are intended to enable you to highlight the evidence before the
well,
court.
my lord, if we do addresses...
we will not be in any difficulty appreciating the value of the quality of the evidence contained in that exhibit. If it is for our benefit, we do not see ourselves in any difficulty. We will take time and consider them properly with that equipment.
Well, we wanted to take advantage of the fact that the petitioners have been given that right to give viva voce evidence, and we seek to present our evidence in this fashion.
We don't want to go back. Earlier on, this application was made and overruled. Let us show some courtesy to the court.
Well, as the court pleases.
I want to ask counsel for first and third respondents whether you can also make available your exhibits in software. Soft copy. They have presented their exhibits both in hard and soft copy. Okay, whether you can put it in a CD-ROM. CD-ROM, if that's what, yeah.
Our exhibits, they are...
affidavits.
Sorry, our affidavits. Where is the file, the documents? It's just that.
How many are they?
There are 5 short exhibits. We are not doing PowerPoints. We are not doing
some boxes there, and I understand they are.
Oh, those are affidavits from the
witnesses
from the polling stations.
From your those are your witnesses.
Is that what your lordship is asking?
They have got some material in soft.
Oh my lord, that would be imposing huge cost on us. It costs a fortune.
I'm just asking.
Produce those. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Your witnesses.
Those are statements from. Yes.
How many?
Oh, you should have about 7,200 or 7,100 or so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back. We just came from the Supreme Court, and in case you weren't paying attention or you missed it, I have my colleague Annie Osabote on the line to tell us what the court said when it came back from recess. Hello, Annie.
Hi, JJ.
Annie, can you tell us what happened after the recess?
Okay, right now the case has been adjourned up until tomorrow. Reason that Justice Abubakar was conducted, and then the
encouraging them to come on board so that the proceedings can be telecast live for our citizens outside Ghana. We take notice that some citizens of Ghana have been misled into embarking on demonstrations in Europe, America, and so on. We to participate in the voting, you must understand the issues very, very clearly. So I think it is a great day, but I see the conduct of MPP as something I don't understand at all, because
I thought they were ready. But they are now running away from their own case. You don't wait to receive answers before you ask the questions. You have been asked to come and ask your questions. Say, let me see your answer before you ask questions. They are like some JSS people who are not ready to write examination, and they want to get answers before they go there to see the exam papers. We are not ready for that, and we can assure you that their case has started crumbling. We are also very encouraged with this media coverage so that it will not be necessary at all for any MPP people or any other supporters of any political party to organize attacks to invade these premises. You can watch the proceedings at home. So it's not necessary at all to fall for the MPP's trap of organizing people to come and create confusion here. We are confident that MPP wants to divert this case onto the streets. We are ready that the case will be held in these court premises. At the end of the day, the truth will be told. Thank you very much.